successful Detroit Lions, Colin. I still remember that loss in the playoffs to Washington. Goff was horrible. But Jahmyr Gibbs, the great running back for Detroit, he said he's ready to do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. He's willing to line up at safety or nickelback. I guess he's been reading about Travis Hunter. I don't know, Colin. I feel like the window's kind of closing for the Lions. Gibbs,
well,
a superstar, but it feels like the ship has sailed.
Windows don't close when you have a really good general manager and scouting department, and unlike the Bengals, the Lions have poured more money into it. So this is an organization that has drafted, similarly to Philadelphia, has hit on so many first, second, and third round draft picks that they are going to keep the books reasonable. Aiden Hutchinson comes back this year. They did lose a center, and they addressed that in the draft. They went heavy interior linemen. I think there are certain teams. Baltimore drafts too well. Philadelphia, the Rams, Buffalo's drafted very well. Green Bay historically drafts well. If you draft well, your windows may regress, but they don't close. Dallas is closed because they have not. New England, Belichick at the end, closed. They drafted poorly.
Yeah. Listen, when you are a well-run team, your window never closes. It just changes from time to time. That's what it gets boiled down to. So this idea that the Super Bowl has closed, the Super Bowl window is closed for the Lions, I disagree. I mean, listen, if we were to look at from 2022 from 2028 or something, could we say that theoretically in 23 and 24, prior to all the injuries, that on a scale of 1 to 100, 100 being where the window, this window, magical window that we make up, was the widest open, and 0 being the close, when it's closed, that in 23 and 24, that it was theoretically the most open it could be. I'm okay making a statement with that. But even if the window closes to now 90 or something, that kind of then inherently implies, and I think wrongfully so, that one, people now take that as saying, well, now it's just closed, right? Well, now it's just now it's just 0, or that now puts them underneath a whole collection of like 10 other teams, and I don't see that being the case either. I know this continues to be like a sensitive topic and a hot topic and a discussion point for Lions fans, but it all comes down to how successful are the coordinators who they hired, right? If those coordinators have a lot of success and prove to be able to hit the ground running and are going to establish themselves as great coaches, I'm not saying just good, like great coaches, then everything's golden. I mean, I trust that the Detroit Lions will continue to build high-level teams, make the right decisions when they need to, moving on from a player when need to, making the appropriate trade when they need to, the right free agency signing when they need to. Like, I have full faith in that. The rest now, especially with Dan Campbell being the type of coach that he is, it's like coordinating. And if you reach the conclusion, you know what? This coordinator's not good enough, or this player's not good enough, having the confidence to be able to move on from them and turn the page. That's something that we haven't necessarily seen the Lions do just yet. Whereas, like, we've seen the Eagles do that. We've seen the Eagles fire their coordinators, hire new ones. We've seen them move on from a quarterback, and not during their process of like rebuilding and figuring things out. The Lions have, of course, done that, but not after they've already reached this kind of high level place in the NFL that they have. Now the decisions are even harder to make, right? Before, it's a lot easier to make some changes in 2020, 21, 22 even. But once you hit 23, 24, and now 25, like, there's truly a ton at stake. And now the decisions are harder, right? The consequences could quite literally be a Super Bowl. So that's what I then, you want to see that next level for the Detroit Lions to be able to navigate. And fortunately, it's something that they don't, fortunately, for them, hopefully, it's not something that they have to really have to navigate, right? Like, ideally, it's like they hired the coordinators who they hired. Everything's great. The players are great. No, because people were already whispering like, "Oh, do you start to move on from Jared Goff? Has he shown that he's not good enough? This, that." And I think he's good enough. But let's say the Lions reach the conclusion, I really want to upgrade at quarterback. It's like having the courage then to do that. If that's the conclusion that you draw, well, then you make, then you make the move. You need to see them start to make those really, really difficult moves, like the Kansas City Chiefs letting Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill move on, right? That is a bold decision to make, an incredibly bold. Like that is not an easy move to make. That is incredibly difficult to do, incredibly difficult. The Philadelphia Eagles moving on from their MVP caliber quarterback of Carson Wentz, who they gave like at the time like second most money in the NFL. Like that is a bold statement. That is a bold, really aggressive decision to make. Signing Saquon Barkley, make no mistake about it, was a bold thing to do, a bold move to make. So it's just like, where are some of those other bold decisions to make that show that they can even be run even at that next level beyond just kind of like we built something special here, which they have. What are the other decisions that they can? As long as they continue to prove that they can do that, the window will always be open. The window will always be open. And even if it feels like it kind of closes for a second, when you're a well-run team, like how I kind of used the example of when it was at 100 and now maybe it drops to 90, there's always a potential for it to smash open. And now you got a whole wall. Get rid of the window, man. It's just like the whole wall's missing. That's always a possibility. The Chiefs have proven that. The Niners have proven that. Like that's why it's like I will always put more value in a team that's clearly well run rather than, hey, this is just like a really good team with a great quarterback together. Like it's just like, how are you run? And I think the Lions should know this so intimately because their team had been so poorly run for decades that you even had a great quarterback like a Matthew Stafford, and it didn't matter. You had some great players. It didn't matter. You weren't making the right decisions, the right hires. You weren't moving on from people quickly enough and then hiring the right people, like whatever it may be. So it's like when things are well run, the idea of like the window's closing, like to me, when you make statements like that, that implies like that was their chance to win a Super Bowl. Now it's closed. Better luck 20 years from now. And it's like, if you're the Cleveland Browns, maybe. If you were the Detroit Lions like 20 years ago, maybe. If you were, I don't know, insert any other poorly run team. The Jacksonville Jaguars, like Carolina Panthers, right? The Carolina Panthers, not a well-run team. They had a window open with Cam Newton. They weren't able to capitalize. Didn't make aggressive decisions moving forward. Were never able to get quite back what they were. Their Super Bowl window closed. And they proved to not be a well-run team because then for a literal decade after that, there's been nothing for them. I don't even know if they've made that. I don't even remember the last time they made the playoffs, honestly. Same thing with the Jets. Technically, their window was like kind of open a little bit with Mark Sanchez. Couldn't do it. And they haven't done anything for, 20 years or something, whatever it is. So those are the differences. For sometimes when we talk about the window closing, we're talking about those teams, that makes total sense. And, it makes sense. For here, not so much. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Detroit Lions and this so important Super Bowl window closing? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.